The Scarlet Gospels by Clive Barker. Now listen, reading this right after the Hellbound Heart, let me tell you, it wasn't a wonderful experience at all. With this book, you might say that we are dealing with a mature author, a writer who has polished his craft, who has improved dramatically. We're not dealing with that at all. In comparison to the Hellbound Heart, the writing in this book, I would say, is just lacking. It's lackluster. It's less. Whereas in the Hellbound Heart, despite the fact that it is slim in regards to the story and the characters, the writing itself, the style, the prose was a bit refined, a bit elegant. Whereas here, with a few exceptions, it is absolutely atrocious. Okay, this book, listen, this book has no business having such a cool cover. Absolutely has no business having such a cool cover. Okay, now I am going to address the one and only thing that truly cripples this book beyond salvation. And if you have read this book, you already know what I'm about to talk about. I don't know what is going on. I don't know the backstory of this book. I don't know what the story is in regards to its creation. But the dialogue in this book, folks, in the Scarlet Gospels, it is absolutely the worst I have ever read, period. Okay, after all the hundreds of books that I have read over the years, this has to be the worst dialogue that I have ever come across. Period. And tell me in the comments if you agree or disagree, because this dialogue is something special. This dialogue is terrible. I would equate the dialogue with, the dialogue in B movies, for example. It's just cliche, stereotypical, it's listen, I don't know if this was done intentional because Clive Barker was being an edgelord or whatever, but it's just if he was trying to be ironically unironic, I mean, he failed miserably. The dialogue in this book just takes you out of the immersion 100%. Every time I had to deal with dialogue, I was just like, oh boy, here we go again. Here we go again. Like, listen, I'm gonna say this. For all of you aspiring writers, you need to read this book in order for you to understand and learn what not to do. Let me repeat that. If you are an aspiring writer, you need to read this book cover to cover to understand what never to do. This book is a lesson in terms of what not to do as a writer. The dialogue, my boy. The dialogue seems to have been written by a teenager trying to be, I don't know, edgy and a smartass. Okay, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. Okay, now to be fair, there are certain paragraphs in this book that catch your eye, that they are poetic, they are profound, the descriptions are wild, but overall, this book is inferior to the Hellbound Heart because it's just atrocious. Okay? If Clive Barker was trying to be, I don't know, sarcastic, ironic, if he wrote this book on a dare, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense because a lot of the stuff that happens in the story is a bit goofy, in my opinion, okay? And you might disagree, okay? Listen. From what I did a little bit of research. From what I understand, The Scarlet Gospels is the successor to the Hellbound Heart, and there are a couple of short stories, but this is it. This is the successor to the infamous Hellbound Heart, which gave rise and birth to Pinhead. Okay? The first book was released in 86, I believe, and this was published in 2015. And I don't know, it seems like he regressed as an author, as a writer, in every regard. And listen, I haven't read anything else of his, with the exception of the Hellbound Heart and the Scarlet Gospels. And I don't know, something happened. This book isn't even third rate. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? Now, again, I have to come in with the criticism. The introduction to this book is one of the worst I have ever come across. In the first couple of chapters, it's basically the preface, the introduction to the actual story, right? The preamble. So the first couple of chapters deals with Pinhead, our favorite cenobite, basically killing the last of the wizards, sorcerers, magicians, whatsoever. And the way this is written, it's just, I don't know, it's just, I can't even describe it in words. It's so yucky. Okay, it's yucky. Like these magicians, sorcerers, wizards that are being killed by Pinhead for reasons that we do not know as of yet. I mean, it's just so, again, it's third rate. It's B-movie quality. It's just, of course, yet again, I have to repeat myself, the dialogue of these wizards, how they interact with one another, it's just mind-numbing. It's just blood-curdlingly bad, folks. It's just, I'm stuttering already. That's how bad the dialogue is. And again, if you have the knowledge, the inside scoop, please tell me if Clive Barker wrote this book intentionally bad, because it would make sense. Okay, because again, the Hellbound Heart had a sort of elegance, eloquence, refinement, whereas here, for the most part, it is just what happened. So Pinhead kills all of these wizards, and he accumulates their magical knowledge and prowess. And essentially, Pinhead gains all of this magical power in order to do something in hell. Perhaps I wasn't too attentive, because let me tell you, after a couple hundred pages, this book becomes a drag, a chore to read, okay? But from what I understand, by the end, Pinhead explains that he dared to challenge higher forces, meaning basically he challenged Lucifer himself, the king of hell, and they had a little fight, and we don't really know what his plan was, what the real mission was, what his goals were, for this ambition of his. We don't really know, and we don't really find anything about Pinhead personally. We don't really explore his backstory, his history, whatever, who he really was, why he became a cenobite, etc., etc. This is what happens, okay? Finally, we are in hell, and Pinhead goes on this journey to find Lucifer, the devil, the king of hell, because I guess he wants to challenge Lucifer to a fight or whatever, right? And finally, he finds Lucifer in this citadel or in this grand castle, whatever. So he finally discovers Lucifer himself, and guess what? Lucifer, the Lightbringer, the king of hell, Satan himself, the devil, has committed suicide. And let me tell you, This is the one and only thing that caught me off guard. This is the only plot point in this entire book that just amazed me. It surprised me. It was a shocker in a good way. I was just, okay, Clive Barker, we be fucking now. Okay? This came out of nowhere, and I was bewitched. I was entranced. I wanted to know more. Lucifer committed suicide, folks, because he could no longer endure being separated from his father, God Almighty himself. That is exactly what you've heard. Lucifer himself committed suicide in an extravagant way. He has some sort of machine with spears, and all the spears have stabbed him on his, crazy throne. And the reason why Lucifer has committed suicide is because he missed his daddy. Okay? And I was interested. I was okay. This is a new approach to this devil Lucifer template. This is fresh. I like it. And we need to explore more about this. But we don't really find out more. And of course, even though Lucifer commits suicide, God don't give a fuck. Okay? God still doesn't care. God is busy, okay? God doesn't have time for this nonsense. His son committed suicide because he missed his daddy, and God was just like, well, whatever, bro, right? So, but we do not have time to deal with all of this, because finally Pinhead comes along and he steals Lucifer's armor, and he just gets a power buff, a power boost, an upgrade. With Lucifer's armor, he becomes super strong, and this is the point where things just get out of hand, out of control, and we are dealing with some anime shit. Okay? So now Pinhead is super duper strong because of this armor, and he just wrecks shit, and he just destroys stuff, and he kills demons, and he just flexes his power, right? And then all of a sudden, Lucifer, who was supposed to be dead, just arises out of nowhere. He resurrects for some reason that cannot be explained and will not be explained. But Lucifer is resurrected, and he is a bit angered because his suicide was a failure, and he just starts fighting with Pinhead. And in this first fight, Pinhead has the advantage, and you can say that Pinhead manages to kind of kill Lucifer, right? But then something happens, and Lucifer kind of defeats Pinhead. But Pinhead somehow gets another buff, okay, another upgrade, and he summons some sort of vacuum cloud, the abyss, whatever, and he inhales this cloud, and he gets another power boost, and he becomes super duper strong. And the anime fight continues on and on and on, and guess what? It seems like Pinhead this time around has finally defeated Lucifer, and is about to kill Lucifer, whatever. And for some reason, even though Pinhead has all of this power and all of these buffs, Lucifer gets the greatest buff ever for some reason that will never be explained, of course. And just like that, after this crazy fight, Lucifer just claps Pinhead's cheeks, and Pinhead is just defeated, and Pinhead is humiliated in every way possible, and for Lucifer, this battle is barely an inconvenience. It's barely nothing at all, and it was all pointless, essentially. It was all pointless. You've read like 50 pages or 100 pages for nothing, okay? So then Lucifer, after defeating Pinhead, he just destroys hell and goes to the human world and goes to New York, and that's pretty much it. We don't really get any, I think I was so bored by this point that I zoned out, and I don't remember why Lucifer decides to go to New York. And I really am not interested one way or another, right? But guess what? Even though Pinhead was just destroyed, brutalized, savaged by Lucifer, Pinhead somehow survives, of course. And he lives on for a little while longer, and then he finally dies. And I'm just like, all throughout this book, I'm just like, is this the iconic horror character? Is this the Cenobite, whose first book, and movie, is this the same character that inspired Kentaro Miura in regards to Berserk, one of the greatest stories ever told, right? Because this is just subpar, pathetic stuff. Okay, this book, man, and let me tell you, the greatest cringe fest of them all, folks. Like these characters, the humans, also called the Harrowers. Was it Harry Demore and two guys and an old lady and a woman, Lana, or whatever? Bro, these people are some of the worst characters, so badly written that I was just... These people are annoying, folks. To me, at least. Okay, let me say this. If this book and these characters are your favorite, please tell me why in the comment section. I really would like to know why the Scarlet Gospels is your favorite novel, because to me, this book does not deserve to be touched or read ever again. I will never, ever, ever, ever read this book again. This book was a mistake. This book wasted my time for the most part. Okay? But again, these human characters of ours, the Horrors, are just, Kaz and the other dude and the woman and Harry. I'm just, again, the way they talk to each other, folks. I mean, it's so cringe. It's so odd. It's so peculiar. It's so seizure-inducing. I felt sick to my stomach reading this book, especially the dialogue between these two, between these human characters. It's something else, folks. It's like, let me give you an example, okay? For an extended portion of this story, our human characters are in hell. Okay, they are going through the hell realm, and they're seeing shit that is absolutely crazy, surreal stuff, existential, metaphysical stuff, horror, pure horror, and they see demon, and it's body horror. It's something that the mind cannot comprehend. If you stare too much, you will go insane. And these human characters, folks, going through hell, mere mortals, seeing all of this fucked up, maddening stuff. The way they communicate to each other is Looney Tunes level, okay? They go through hell and experience all of the insane stuff that hell has to offer. And the way they treat it is just like they have these one-liners, folks. B-movie one-liners, right? And the two dudes, Kaz and the other guy, they keep making dick jokes and dick innuendos because they're gay and they like each other, which is fine, but they're in hell. They are fighting demons and they're making dick jokes. And I'm just like, after the first 10 dick jokes in a row, I'm just like, bro, what is this? What happened? I can't in any way, shape, or form take this book seriously at all. Even though at points it tries to be serious, for the most part, because of this stupid, goofy, silly nonsense that Clive Barker has produced here, it just fails miserably on every level. Okay? The one-liner responses that these characters, they're all trying to be smartasses and wisecracks and oh boy, let's, it's like it's like teenagers trying to one up each other, like, oh, your mama fat, no, your mama fat. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I can't express into words how god awful, abysmal this dialogue is. I have never experienced something like this. This is the dialogue, folks. If the dialogue isn't intentionally bad, the dialogue is something I have never experienced. This is not even amateur level. This is something else. This is something else. I dare you to read this book and tell me that the dialogue overall is okay. It is not. It is not okay. Okay. And to emphasize this, let me tell you this. If I were the editor of this book, if Clive Barker presented this manuscript to me, I would say, hell no. Hell no. What is this garbage, bro? What is this garbage? I thought this guy was an acclaimed author of incredible potential, and this is the best that he can. This is not even third-rate stuff. And again, it hurts my heart because Pinhead and the Cenobites, they are iconic characters, and it seems to me that most people, most fans care more about the movies than the actual literature. Okay, and who can blame them, though? Right? Let's see if I can find some delicious examples of this dialogue I keep ranting about. Anyway, I'm not patient enough to find all of the dialogue, but the other character who makes dick jokes is Dale, and he and Cass, they just have a special relationship, okay? And they have to like, there is a section in the book where I think it was Dale or Cass. They have one of them has a cane who by which they fight off demons, right? And one of them asks the other, "Oh, can I borrow your cane?" Because I guess he wants to try the cane against demons. And the other guy is like, "Yeah, you can borrow my cane, bruh." And it's sort of implied that, yeah, you can rub my ding dong or something. It's a dick innuendo because of course they're gay, whatever, and they have to keep. Listen, this touching my cane or you can borrow my cane is obviously an innuendo for a dick, and that's all right, of course, but they keep on repeating this so-called joke, innuendo, whatever you call it, again and again. Oh, you can borrow my cane, and you can borrow my cane, and everybody can borrow my cane because I'm a dandy or whatever. And I'm just like, bro, stop, you know. But anyway, okay, there is only one piece of writing that just caught my attention and it mesmerized me, okay? And it is, of course, something that Pinhead says. Listen, I'll give credit where credit is due, because even Clive Barker could not make such a grave mistake when it comes to Pinhead. Everything or almost everything that Pinhead says in this book is absolute gold. He is the only character that can and should be taken seriously. Everything else is absolute garbage and should be thrown away and never looked upon ever again. Of course, okay? But there is something, one thing that Pinhead says that really caught my attention, and I hope that I can find it. And before I find it, yet again, I'm looking through this book, and I keep stumbling upon the dialogue. And everything, listen, everything is so tongue-in-cheek. The back and forth has to be so giddy. So, ooh, I'm so clever. I'm so, I'm such a smartass. You know, it's all so tongue-in-cheek. This is the problem. If we are dealing with an absolutely serious situation, like we're in hell and hell is collapsing because Lucifer is going apeshit, and we might die and everything might die and even reality itself might implode. And as these people are going through this and they're trying to escape, they still have this tongue-in-cheek back and forth. Their replies are so smart alecky, and I'm just like, it makes me sick to my stomach. It's disgusting. And let this be a lesson to all to all creative people who have this desire to create stories and characters. If you are dealing with a serious situation, perhaps humor does not have a place in that serious scene. If you are trying to write or draw or whatever a serious scene dealing with serious subject matter, perhaps being funny does not belong in that scene, right? Sometimes you have to be serious, and I mean dead serious, brutally serious. And in every section, in every part, Clive Barker just has to be tongue-in-cheek, has to be funny. This is edgelord level of cringe. This is just, my God, this guy is supposed to be, I don't know, pretty old. I don't know, in his 50s or 60s when he wrote this, and it's just, it feels like a 12-year-old wrote the dialogue, trying to be, you know, you know what it is? It has this nature, or it has this flair of a fuck boy. This is exactly what I want to say. The dialogue is basically fuck boy material. When you are reading the dialogue, every piece of dialogue, I imagine somebody doing got him. Hey, oh, got him. Pure fuckboy material. It has the aura of a fuckboy going like this. What that thing do, girl? Right? It's deplorable. It's absolutely atrocious. Okay? But let me see if I can find that one quote that I want to read you, because it is something special. Okay? If you are gonna read this book, you should only read it because Pinhead is in it. Everything that Pinhead has to say is absolute gold. Everything is utter trash. Everything else is utter garbage. Okay? Anyway, I can't find it, but Pinhead sort of says that it's the most, probably the most nihilistic thing you can possibly imagine. Sort of, he says basically that of course I'm paraphrasing here, but he says something to the extent that life and living only inherits death, and being alive only garners death and dust and decay and nothingness, something like that. Of course, Clive Barker writes it way better than what I said. Of course, I can't find it. Unfortunately, I'm sad that I can't find it. But it is one of the greatest quotes I have ever heard in terms of just being a true nihilist and facing the facts. He just says existence itself is pointless, and what we have to look forward to is death and dust and decay. Basically nothingness. Okay. But this is the last thing that I want to talk about. In the Hellbound Heart, I kept rambling about, the the lament configuration, the puzzle boxes, because it turns out that there are more than one puzzle box. In the Hellbound Heart, I theorized that these people who find the puzzle boxes and they solve the puzzle, it seemed to me like it was a trick, it was a trap, it was a catch-22. There was no reward, right? Because of course in the Hellbound Heart, Frank solves the puzzle cube and he wants a higher sensation, and the Cenobites, they trap him in a pocket dimension, and he just almost goes crazy because of these sensations that he experiences. So my thing is, whatever you wish, whatever your wish is, the Cenobites turn it into some sort of, into turmoil, into torture, into suffering, whatever it might be, whatever your wish might be. There is no silver lining. And in the Scarlet Gospels, it is absolutely proven, 100%. There is no positive aspect when it comes to the puzzle boxes, the lament configuration. If you are unfortunate enough to stumble upon one, and if you are even more unlucky to solve it, then you will be subjected to a whole lot of pain, and you will not get any reward or prize at the end. And I think this is a major problem, because this is just a trick. It's a trap. There is nothing. You get nothing but the worst of the worst. Whereas, of course, in Berserk by Kentaro Miura, he took this idea and he went to the next level, because in Berserk, the Behelit, if you sacrifice what you love the most, of course you will go through unimaginable pain, suffering, torture, but at the end, you will get your prize, you will get your reward. You will either become an apostle, a demon, and you will have crazy powers, maybe even immortality. You will be powerful like crazy. You will no longer be immortal. Okay? Or, if you are even more special, you might even become a member of the God Hand, one of the main demons, right? In Clive Barker's universe, there is no prize, there is no reward. You don't get any power, you don't get anything. You don't even get pleasure. The people, mostly the people who solve the lament configuration, they want to experience pleasure on another level because they're jaded, because they have experienced what normal life has to offer. They have lived in excess and now they're stunted somehow. And they sacrifice a lot to attain and solve the puzzles, and they don't really get anything other than suffering, pain, torture, etc. And I'm just like, that kind of, I don't know, defeats the purpose. I get it. It's a sort of, I don't know, joke. It's like a cosmic prank. It's just a prank, bro. I guess it kind of makes sense, but it's still kind of lackluster and lame to me, right? To me at least, there should be more to the puzzle boxes than just, you fuck around and you find out. Okay, it's just, I get it. It kind of makes sense in this universe, but I'm still like, bro, there should be something. Right? For example, and I'll end it with this. In the Hellbound Heart, because of circumstances, Frank escapes his imprisonment, his torture, and he still doesn't really get anything, right? You would think that such an achievement as escaping the Cenobites and their trap would be impressive, or the Cenobites would be, okay, I see you, bruh, you kinda cold. There's nothing. The Cenobites, oh, he escaped, we'll find him, of course. Nobody escapes us, and that's so dull. That's so boring, right? There should be more. But anyway, That's about it. Again, and I will say this, and I am dead serious, this is not a joke. This is not a prank, bro. The dialogue in this novel is the worst I have ever encountered in my life. And it might be intentional. I don't know. You tell me if you know. If you enjoy this content, if you want to support your boy, I got a few books on Amazon. The link will be down below. If the link does not work, you can search my name, Griffith Samsara. Thanks for watching. Keep on reading good books. See ya.